Stream. Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio for Dark Side of the Stream, episode 251. Big announcement!
Hey! We got a new sponsor.
For
this
week.
show, yeah.
This week's episode of Dark Side of the Stream is brought to you by Tyler's Hickey.
Tyler's Hickey. Tyler, can you show it on camera,
please?
please?
On the camera, he's going to do it. He didn't want to do it.
I want to see what girl is responsible for this work of art.
Yeah, can we see a picture of her?
It's. Why won't you show me? Look at that. Look at that shining
Keep in
through.
mind, this kid's 22 years old. All right?
Who's taking advantage of Tyler?
The last hickey I had on me, on a visible part of my body, was probably on the junior high. What about you?
I would have been a senior year. I was moving away, and the girl made her initials on sucked her initials into my stomach area. There was like 20 of them.
Isn't that a red? Hey, what is
it was a red flag. Yeah,
you idiot.
That ended up being my baby mama and my ex-wife, and it's still crazy to this day.
What an idiot.
Still crazy to this day.
God, you know what?
See, Tyler, what that can lead to, that one hickey can lead to?
No, it's not about that. Don't listen to this. He's
nice.
wrong.
It's got a nice shape to the hickey. I suggest you try something else.
What he has failed to do in the 50-plus years of his life is learn what we call lessons, life lessons. And this is time and time again. You tell me one thing, I'm like, is that not a red flag?
You can see it.
Yeah, red flag. I mean, in hindsight, I should have seen it then.
To me, when I see a red flag, it means start your engines, guys. Let's go.
He's so funny to me, too. And Jordan, if you're watching, I love you to death. And I think you're the best thing in the world that ever happened to this guy.
Yeah.
Hands down, in the time that I've known him. And I'm not being facetious at all. I mean that, 100% of my being.
Yeah.
However, it cracks me up that girl, your baby mama in Hawaii, left hickeys of her initials on your stomach, and then
I still.
20 years ago, you got matching tattoos.
Yeah. No, with the new girl. Maybe it's a me problem.
Jeez Louise, man.
All right, the documentary this week is John Candy documentary on Who I Like Me.
Documentary. It's directed by Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son. But before we get into that, though, we also have some really big Dark Side of the Stream news. Okay. A couple years ago, we did a documentary about Waco, and it was kind of on
Netflix.
It was more about like the interviews with some of the guys on the ground, the news dudes, the sheriff deputies, the hired sharpshooters. And we talked about this one dude that was in there.
The sniper was the coolest guy.
Tattooed just, all the way up and down, just like me.
He had a shot on Koresh, but he wasn't allowed to take it.
And so he was
the coolest guy on there.
When we were talking about, because we were talking about how bad the FBI fumbled it, and then we were like, except for that one tattooed dude who seemed to know, like, nah, we just need to do this. And I can get this over with in 5 minutes. Like, let me
He was
just
the coolest cat.
So
turns out he is the coolest cat.
Yesterday, I'm walking down the hall, and Jay's like, bro, come here. Bro, you remember that sharpshooter in the Waco documentary? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, he's in there. And I peek in there, I was like, it is you. You got long hair now.
Yeah, he lives here in Springfield. And
props to you, my guy.
I train with his buddy, and he's going to be coming in here and doing some stuff. He's a big Cave fan, Cave listener. That's all he listens to.
It was super cool, dude.
Yeah.
We were all man crushing over each other. I think we're going to be best friends. And now that's probably going to be trouble for the three of us.
Yeah, wow.
Well, at least you heard it here. If we have to come back for evidence of what happened, it started on this episode.
It's been a long break, and we did not talk about the documentary at all yet.
We are discussing this week the John Candy documentary, I Like Me. I am a child of the 80s, so John Candy being involved in all the films he was.
Uncle Buck and stuff like that.
All those
I
movies,
remember all those
Summer
things.
Rental, I could go on
Planes,
and on and
Trains,
on.
and Automobiles.
Unbelievable movies.
Yeah.
Unbelievably talented individual. But really a great, also speaking of life lessons, a great lesson of giving too much of yourself.
Yeah.
And, when you know what? Let's talk about it next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream. Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. The Cave.
104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back. It's episode 251, Dark Side of the Stream. We really didn't talk about any of the documentary in the last segment.
No.
We had a bunch of crazy updates. Maybe we should just use that as the crazy update section of the podcast. But anyway, John Candy, I Like Me. What I was starting to say was, I think the overall, even though he passed away from a heart attack in his early 50s, it is a very good life lesson of sometimes being too nice and too kind and giving too much of yourself is and can be a bad thing. And there's nothing wrong with being a person that is giving and caring and loving and helping, but also setting boundaries.
Say no
which is
sometimes.
like, hey, I've got to be this, or I can't be this and this and this. I've got to just focus on this.
I have a hard time doing that too. I always be like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
Eventually, you have to be able to set look, and just say, look, I can't, it's not possible. But you can see in this documentary, especially with all the interviews that they did and having like Bill Murray and all the
OGs, Dan Aykroyd.
Like those guys are the Second City OGs, man. And it's sad to see, especially because Bill Murray doesn't have the greatest reputation as far as like being he is in the later years, but like for a long time he didn't have a great reputation of being a super nice guy.
No.
I think he's kind of fixed that in his later years, but for him to get obviously and visibly upset about just mentioning a guy who passed away over 30, 40 years ago, like you can tell.
A big jolly fellow, it seemed like, And
it sucks that a lot of people in that business took advantage of him. You could see it.
Yeah.
But you also, in that case, you also have to you have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, if this is stressing me out and all these things are stressing me out, coping by eating, smoking, drinking, which he smoked a ton, and it's not.
Well,
you got to take accountability and
he
try
even
and
said he had his dad's heart. His dad had a heart attack young, and he said he had the heart. You need to think about that and be like, okay, maybe I should have a healthier lifestyle here or something. You know?
And again, it's a good life lesson, but it sucks that this always seems to happen to the people that really are
the good, jolly guys.
Like, I think the world isn't as good without him in it. Then there's a lot of guys I think that you could say that about, because when you have people like this that truly feel the same way I feel, which is we have an opportunity or we have a soapbox or whatever you want to call it to bring light and make change, even if it's just little things in this world. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. Some people abuse it and use it for darkness, and I try to do as much as I can to just, even if it's talking about records to somebody at a gas station, like
Spread
that's
a little
it.
positivity out
and
there.
The least amount of guys that we have out there that are doing that stuff, it breaks my heart. But either way, we're going to come back and talk about some of our favorite John Candy moments and pictures next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 251. We're doing John Candy, I Like Me. Now, again, we talked a little bit about some of his favorite movies. What was your favorite film?
Probably would have been Uncle Buck or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah, those were both really good.
Uncle Buck, I asked that because I had a feeling that's what you'd say.
Yeah.
That was cool to hear Macaulay Culkin's take.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Because, again,
how John Candy really was concerned with him as the child, not as the actor, but as a child.
Because you could see the way his father was.
Cool at home?
His father was parading him around.
Man.
And he had his meter up, and he also stepped in and was like, hey. And you could tell, like, all these years later, Macaulay didn't forget about that.
No, not at all.
And all these people that are in this documentary.
Just taking and using from Macaulay, and then here he comes along. He's like, you are you, all right?
Yeah.
You good.
It's not, what can you do for me? It's not, what can you
seeing
make
him,
for me?
when he owned that football team for a while, and his... they're making that John Madden film right now with Nicolas Cage as John Madden. Gosh, Candy would have been the perfect John Madden.
Yeah, for sure.
They look exactly
1,000%.
alike when he was on the sidelines there.
If I was to pick my favorite, I said Summer Rental. Summer Rentals, even though it's not like great.
It was just a whole series of movies during that period.
Great Outdoors, him and Dan Aykroyd.
Very similar as well to Summer Rental.
If I had to pick one, even though he doesn't have a major role in it, I'd probably say Stripes. I love, arguably, the mud wrestling scene is probably one of my favorite scenes, not because of the partial nudity, just because it's just so funny, that whole situation. And wouldn't it be cool?
Well, I forgot he was in Home Alone. The polka band leader. I forgot all about that.
And well, it's because he and her, the mom,
were just homies.
Well, they worked in Second City together, and so like all of that crew, they all knew each other.
He says like I can give you 24 hours, and they literally shot for 23 hours and just did it.
And we could go down the list. Spaceballs is incredible.
God, I know he was in a lot of movies, dude.
He was so good at what he did, but he was always. It was so funny because there are, like, I always talk about like the Pauly Shore movies in the 90s, right? Like Pauly Shore, it's like
Weasel.
The Wheeze is in the army. That's in the army. Oh, the Wheeze is going to marry a farmer's daughter, stepdaughter.
Same with Ernest. Remember the Ernie guy?
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like Pauly Shore in all these movies, Encino Man. Pauly Shore has a caveman living under his house.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, it's like so funny because like. He had 5 movies where it was like, all right, Pauly, we're just going to have you do here. In these movies with John Candy, they're John Candy, but it's not.
No, they're characters. They're
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think
it's
that
not John Candy as
like,
this character.
You see him, and he's so iconic, but then he becomes the polka king of Wisconsin.
Yeah, dude, that's so dope.
He becomes the dude, the fat guy in Stripes is trying to lose some weight by going to basic training. Either way, they're just such an integral part of what I think makes those movies so special. So again, just a hugely talented guy. We actually just watched Nothing But Trouble. Couple days ago, which he's in. He's the sheriff.
I remember that one.
You never seen Nothing But Trouble?
I might have. I mean, there was a whole period of those movies, in the late 80s.
It was the early 90s, so you probably have been your blackout years.
Blackout years.
Either way, it's Dark Side of the Stream.
The Lost Years.
The Lost Years. We'll be back with our reviews next on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern. We're back in the studio one more time. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 251. We did John Candy, I Like Me. I would give it solid 4.5.
Yeah, solid 4 for me, for sure. Learned a little bit. It was nice.
I was just kind of sad that Rick Moranis wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Which I figure him and Rick were probably pretty close,
right? Because they were Canadian
Rick
dudes.
Doesn't do a whole lot of things.
Really?
Well, supposedly he's going to be in the Spaceball sequel. Like he's already been working they're shooting Australia or something, or New Zealand.
Are they going to do a CG John Candy character?
I doubt it, man. I don't see Mel Brooks
doing that.
I don't see Mel Brooks doing that at all. But I would also.
Oh, he is?
Our producer's just chiming in and letting us know that
Hickey
John
has brought
Candy's
knowledge
son,
to. I think if blood flow to his brain, he just came in with some sweet knowledge.
You know what's funny? It's just like that Seinfeld episode where Elaine and George are one of them is getting laid and the other one's not getting laid, and then because he's getting laid all the time, he's become super smart because sex isn't on his brain, and then she's not getting laid and sex becomes on her brain all the time, and she just becomes super stupid all the time. Look at this guy. Yep. He's the smartest kid I've ever. He's been working here 3 years. I've never seen a guy like this before.
He's new. Yeah. He's like a vampire. He's been rejuvenated with blood.
That vitamin D, man. Either way.
Yeah. Hey, so my pick is going to be another actor that's lived a glorious Hollywood life, Charlie Sheen.
Hey, great.
Charlie Sheen documentary. It's I forget the name of it, but I watched it a while back. Right, it's good.
Speaking of boundaries,
he's lived a wild life. Yeah, he's lived a wild life, man.
This man should have set some boundaries for himself.
Yeah.
Either way, sounds good. We'll watch that every Thursday 9 a.m. That's when I play it. 6 p.m. during his show. We do it live on Facebook or YouTube, or you can always download this podcast for free on our 104.7 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay
Stevens.
Stevens reminding you we watch movies.
Documentaries, so you don't have to.
It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.